How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish. Today is the day that we bolt on a bunch of horsepower to this Mustang. I last left you guys off with this. This is the 4.6 liter V8 that powers my 1996 Mustang GT. It makes about 215-ish horsepower, 285 foot-pounds of torque. It's not particularly rev happy, but it sounds awesome. But I think that we can get a little bit more power out of the engine just kind of naturally aspirated. So what we're going to do today is we are going to find out how exactly that's done. Not only that, we're going to find out how to do it really cheaply, because this is a challenge where the budget is set at $1,500, and this is a very cheap car. I bought it for $1,000 bucks, so that means I have round about $500 to play with. I've already spent some money on repair parts, but that doesn't mean we can't make it go faster. And if we blow out the budget, then really, who cares? I mean, I'd rather have this car a little bit faster than have the budget directly on point. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to install a cold air intake. So for those of you who don't know what an intake is, it's basically this thing. It's this hose coming out of the intake manifold, and all it does is, its job is to filter the air and kind of divert it into different places. The main part is that it goes into the intake manifold here. This is the intake plenum, the runners. Basically, it gets the air into the engine as efficiently as possible. Sometimes it's not as efficient for power as it is for stuff like noise and maybe fuel economy, but we're gonna make this as powerful as possible, so it's gonna be a little bit more noisy, which I like. I like actually hearing the intake noise, and on a V8 like this, that's it's a good thing to have. But what we're gonna do now is we are just gonna take apart this entire thing. It's just hose clamps everywhere. It's attached to a MAF, which is a mass airflow sensor. And the mass airflow sensor, what that does is it measures the air. That way the PCM, or the ECU, or the engine's computer can accurately measure how much fuel to give. So it's an efficiency thing, but it's also an emissions thing and also performance thing. It really has a big effect on how the engine's performing. So we're going to connect that to a aftermarket cold air intake. And I got this thing off of eBay. The link will be in the description below. It's like 30 bucks. These are cheap as hell. These are very plentiful. It's just a metal tube, but the fact that the metal tube goes into, I believe it goes into the fender, and that's where it gets its cold air. That's what the name is for. It's a cold air intake because it takes colder air, which is more dense, and theoretically you should get more power because warmer air doesn't give you the punch that cold air does. And we'll learn about that more later because of the mods I'm going to do. But for now, we are going to just take this off and install the new intake and see if fitment is on point, especially for a $30 intake. I'm not really expecting too much, but you know, eBay can surprise you. All right, so here's the moment of truth. This is a $35 intake, but the build quality is really solid. I mean, it looks like powder coated black with some pretty nice welds. There are grommets, there are kind of bolts holding everything on. It's a pretty decent setup here. I'll put the link in the description below for anybody who wants it. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on this car We got Danny behind the wheel here. He owns this awesome garage. He also has a nice little YouTube channel called Danny's Garage. That's going to be in the link in the description. But that's not the important bit, because we are going to start this engine. Danny, do it. Give it a rev. Oh yeah. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, dude. No, for 35 bucks, it's the best suck you could get.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a really good suck for 35 bucks. All right, next up is the exhaust. The exhaust is an integral part to any build, but this car in particular will make a very nice noise if we lop off basically the entire back half of the exhaust, which is what we're going to do right now. We're actually going to unbolt it just to see what it sounds like, and if it sounds good enough, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tubes, basically just point them at the ground, and that's going to be the entire exhaust. It should be okay just because the catalytic converters are still on there, so I don't think it should trigger any warning lights or fail emissions or anything, but it's going to be loud as hell. So Danny's already under there. Let me see if we can get him. There we go.
Jankmeister approved.
There, yeah. So Danny's under there, and we are going to, I'll get the camera under there, and we're going to just remove this exhaust. All right, moment of truth. This is gonna be basically the
Freddy?
What?
This.
That's not me, man. That's not me.
Fell out when you took the
I got this car yesterday. Don't give me that shit. Come on. All right, so this is basically back half of the exhaust, not connected. Let's see what this thing sounds like.
That's gonna sound like shit.
Ooh.
Oh, that's nice.
That is good.
America! Let's do it some revs.
Ooh. That is good, man.
It sounds like a truck.
Ah.
Did you hear that crackling?
Yeah. Wow. Dude, that's wow.
No.
All right, we could cut it off.
Wow, that
Holy
sounds
shit,
amazing.
man.
Holy crap.
I think if somebody was sleeping in your neighborhood, they were definitely woke the fuck up. Okay, we ran into a little bit of a roadblock. These two exhaust pipes, they can't make it over the solid axle in the back. So what we're going to do is instead of lowering the axle and spending a little time, we're just going to take a reciprocating saw.
Gonna take this big old sawzall and cut them off.
Yeah, there we go. So we're going to take that saw and just cut these pipes off right after the rear end, and we're gonna go for a drive, maybe. I don't know. It's getting kind of late. All right. So apparently there is crap inside the muffler.
Shake it for good luck. Let's see if anything comes out.
All right. Well,
there was something that flew out.
I'm not sure that's supposed to have lots of little particles in it.
There's like plastic bit. Is this like chain guide pieces?
The chain guide pieces? Yeah, that just exploded out of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just hardened oil.
This is so questionable.
Well, whatever it is, it's weight reduction. Now this car will be.
Which way were we using?
nice and light. We should probably put these on scales, right?
Dude, these are 15 pounds, 15, 20 pounds.
Cool. So 15, 20 pounds each, plus those tailpipes right there. So
Yeah.
That'll be like 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, and I'll make some money off scrap too.
Yeah. So now that we got the exhaust good and loud, like this is legitimately loud, we're going to make this car a lot faster. Now, I know some Civic enthusiasts would say that exhaust and intake make a car faster, and I say no. This makes a car faster. This is a Nitrous Express mainline. I think this is a NX3000 or something. It is a cheap Nitrous wet kit. And this is specifically for the 96 to 98 or 94 to 2000, whatever. This generation SN95 Mustang. This is a plug-and-play solution for this car. It can go from 50 to 150 horsepower wet shot. And what a wet shot means is that instead of a dry shot, which would just be a straight nitrous solenoid going into the intake manifold, a wet shot is nitrous and fuel mixed together in one solenoid, and then that goes into your engine and makes a really big bang. So this is basically like chemical supercharging. This is injecting a lot more air molecules into your engine. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna install this bad boy. We're probably gonna put the tank over here, and I'm not sure, we're not gonna test it now because obviously we don't have any place to fill up the nitrous, but when we do fill up the nitrous, that's gonna be interesting. But for now, it's just gonna be the install.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed. Let me all of the pain seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Let me bleed. Let me
All right, we are done. Well, done for today. It is 2 in the morning, and I'm getting a little sleepy, but we got a lot done today. So we got the intake, which is off right now. This is part of it. We have the exhaust, which makes the car sound freaking sweet, and we have the nitrous. It's sort of all the hardware is on there. All the hardware is mounted and ready. Instead of a regular shark nozzle like you'd get on any other kit that just plumbs into the intake, this is a plate that goes underneath the intake manifold. It's really, really stealthy, and it has a solenoid at either end, one for fuel, one for nitrous. And we are going to finalize that tomorrow. But man, I am excited. I am super duper pumped because this car is gonna go pretty fast with that bottle. Look at how good that looks. That thing looks freaking awesome. What do you think? Looks good? Oh yeah. Yeah, this is it's pretty mint installation if I do say so myself. Yeah, it's good enough.
We gotta fill that up tomorrow anyways.
So this car is pretty trashed on the inside because I was taking a look at the radio, and this guy apparently used house wiring, the previous owner rather. He used house wiring to wire up the radio, and all of the connections are 100% wrong. The ground went nowhere, the powers went nowhere, so that tells me that the previous owner wasn't exactly the best at wiring, but it is a fixable problem, so I'm going to get to that tomorrow. But for now, I think I'm going to leave you off with that, and tomorrow it's just going to be more of making some, well, we're going to be bolting on some go fast bits and making this car look freaking sweet. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever I like you to do. Tune in next time because that's when I will